This is the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast with addiction recovery specialist Dr. Greg Lakin. Real people, real stories, real addiction, and real recovery journeys. The road to recovery starts now.
All right, we're back. This is our third visit with Ricky, right?
Yeah.
We've done this twice, and kind of like a little love story. We weren't sure which direction we were going to go in, and it is what it is. So, but you and Heather's not with you today, but you're back, which I appreciate because, people can follow your story and see how you're doing, and then maybe it somehow commits you a little bit more. Maybe it somehow encourages Heather. Tell us how things are going because we've missed. Like, you'll be in treatment for a little while and you drop out. You'll be in treatment for a little while, you'll drop out with regard to the opioids. But that's not the only thing going on, right?
Well, yeah. I wish I could say I'm doing better, but I mean, I'm not. I mean, really, I've quit shooting up. That's a pretty big step for me because there's times when I want to. I mean, really bad.
Yeah. So, when you say shooting up what?
Shooting up meth. Shooting up like heroin, which as long as I got my medication, I'm good on the heroin, but the meth is kind of the hard one to really keep away. And
when you say medication, you're talking about Suboxone. So Suboxone will keep you from shooting up heroin.
Yeah.
Usually, I guess.
Yeah. If I don't have my Suboxone, then I most of the time that's what I tend to do is I go back to heroin, and then that'll overtake everything, and I'll just be like, who cares about meth? Who cares about any of that? So then I go, I get on my medication, and then I'm good, and then a lot of times I'll get really far, and I'll be sober and be sober for quite a while actually, but then I'll get bored and stagnant, and because I'm not spiritually fit. It's usually the things I'm not like taking the time to get outside myself and like go to meetings and because I'm the kind of person that needs to be out there helping helping and being a part of something, and if I'm not, I'm stagnant. To me that's just dead, not growing. So I tend to always fall back into that, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just kind of in the bad phase of it, and I don't know. I feel like I'm waiting for something, but the only thing I'm waiting on is myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have a lot of insight. You've got to kind of figure it out, at least what the pattern is, right? So that's good. Because, I mean, I know you. So it sounds, I mean, once again, opiate addiction is your drug of choice. I mean, but you also got methamphetamines as well. Yeah. And it's not uncommon for people to just do well and then they actually get bored, and then because they're used to all that, bam, full dopamine, all of a sudden just normal just feels flat, and then they want to supplement, and they didn't allow their brain time to reset. It'll reset where you don't need all that dopamine, and you'll get encouraged or a rush or satisfied with smaller things, but you probably have never allowed your brain a chance to reset. But I don't know. And then tell me about Heather. So Heather, last two times she was here with you, and I think her drug of choice probably is more methamphetamines. Is that fair to say, or I don't?
Yeah, I mean, she is on the Suboxone as well, but she goes through the same motions I go through because I mean we're pretty linked. I guess you'd say we're a lot alike in a lot of ways, but we're not at the same time. It's kind of weird, but every emotion I go through, she feels it too, and I can tell just by watching her body language or just how she's feeling and stuff. But yeah, she's pretty much the same, if not worse right now.
So she's not here today because.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't handle the withdrawals and the embarrassment so much as well as I do. I've been through it so many times, and I try. There's a certain point I won't go down below. As in, I was like, okay, I get it. It sucks right now, but it can get better. You know, somehow, some way, it can get better. And it's like I don't know where her head is, because a lot of times she doesn't express a lot of her feelings. I just take it by her body language, and she seems pretty down right now.
And I came on hard to her last time only because I'm just more worried about her. It's like, what? Because I mean, she's been battling addiction for a decade, and I don't know how much more time she has left, especially with the methamphetamines and the amount of weight she's lost, and I do worry about her. So I did come down hard on her, trying to figure out to try to get out of the victim role, to try to take ownership, to try to motivate her to do something, and so I guess in some respects,
I think your heart was in the right place.
yeah,
but she's a very her defenses are so strong that like if you come at her like any way that she doesn't feel comfortable, or where she feels like she's more in the dominant position,
right.
It's hard to explain. If she doesn't feel like she has the upper hand in it, as in you got to be very settled. You can't like you can't like ambush her, I guess you'd say.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that was the main thing. Is if she would have got a little bit of a heads up, but sometimes the ambush is what some people need, and a lot of times like people like me and her, we tend to recluse, or we just go inward, and our defenses go up, and it's just a mechanism that really, I think it only hurts ourselves, really, and it doesn't help us in any way. If anything, it just hurts us. And
well, we've been dealing for 10 years, honestly, and it was worth a shot trying something different. Because I mean, sometimes doctors are terrible, and counselors and nurses. I mean, we enable people to be victims and feel helpless, and we almost like, you poor thing, and then that doesn't work, and then we try to empower and coach and get people pumped up, but what happens if that doesn't work, and then you come to the point where you maybe challenge too much, and that works better with guys. Coaching works better with women for the most part. Challenging works better with guys because we grew up with sports oftentimes, and certainly there's exceptions to that now, but I mean, people that have played sports, I mean, you feel more at ease being challenged to do something, and maybe with her that's not the way. But then I also worry that it's easy to just push away and vilify and be the victim once again, and never take ownership for why you're where you're at. Because unless you take ownership, unless you make it your journey, you will never get better. You can always find a reason to not be responsible for your own addictions. So anyway, but I appreciate you coming again, and the fact that you're willing to at least be straight with people, and so I mean, we haven't made much improvement, and yet you don't let yourself get as bad before you come back. Is that fair to say? I mean, you're not no track marks.
Yeah, I mean that's one. This is one small step.
Yeah.
I feel I know I can do better. When we're in the rooms, a lot of times you'll hear this, that it could always get worse. Your bottom could always get lower, and my bottom definitely got lower on this one, because I've never been homeless before, and I mean I'm staying at a motel right now, and it sucks. I mean. I paid for a week, but I only know what's going to happen the next week. But it seems like I'm just waiting around for the next,
Yeah. And you've had good stable jobs before.
Oh yeah.
So, but all this uncertainty is definitely going to be.
It's hard on my. I'm a Capricorn. I like structure in some way, in my way, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just. right now, I know I'm going inward a lot and I'm reflecting a lot, and I don't know why I had to go through this, but for some reason I had to.
Yeah. No,
So,
maybe you come out of this stronger. I mean, I don't know.
that's the only thing I can guess. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
because either I do or I don't, and which I know I'm going to eventually, but it just.
Well, you told us about your family history before, and it was a kind of a model childhood upbringing, and really not necessarily part of the family history. But it's a path you went, But you're sharp, you're insightful, you certainly know what makes you tick, or you're learning. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, do you have any ideas yourself on what we can do different? I mean, we know that Suboxone or buprenorphine helps with cravings and withdrawals for you on opioids, but there's still occasionally this flat effect. We've tried different SSRIs and stuff like that. I don't know. Are you still taking? Um,
Yeah, kind of. I'm not taking them like I should. Like I'll take them for about a week or two, and then all of a sudden I'll just stop taking them. I think that has a big effect on them. It was in like if I'm gonna do it, I just need to stay on them. Oh,
and that was kind of more for anxiety.
they work though.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they work. They work so good. I think and I start feeling better. And I think I got this,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, I don't need those, and fucking then I'm.
No, I see people repeat that all the time. Just when they're doing good, they'll shoot themselves in the foot, instead of just holding the course and thinking that. And SSRIs are one of those where you get your serotonin back up to normal, you start feeling more normal, and it takes a month or two before they even start working, and then you quit taking them and you don't feel any different, and then a couple months later you start to crash again. And it's not dramatic, but it's significant enough that it could make you strong or it could make you weak if they're not there. I don't know, but any new ideas for you on what to do next?
I don't know. I've kind of this last time that how I said it can always get lower. I got so low to a point that I feel like what's the point if I crawl back out of this ditch that it's like I'm just gonna get kicked down again, and I'm just like I don't know. There's a part of me that's inside that just says I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of all of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get kicked down again. I don't want to climb again. There's a part of me that does want to climb again, but it just, and then it's a battle, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think everybody fights that battle all the time. I mean, are we afraid of failure? Are we afraid of success? I mean, I don't know, but I know that getting your serotonin back up to normal and stopping your brain from doing this with drugs long enough, like we talked about, you get to the point where you won't have that flat after effect when you get off of drugs, and your brain will reset with regard to dopamine. Things will become pleasurable again, old things that you don't find pleasurable now or stimulating now, they come back online. And I've talked to lots of people that have succeeded, and they say, yeah, you go through this time period once you get off drugs where you just, the excitement's not there anymore, and you feel like you're like it needs to be. And then all of a sudden, pretty soon, the little things start to matter again, and you start to have hope, and you start to think about the future, and you start to re-engage all this again. So I mean, know that.
Wait for the pink cloud.
Yeah, you'll get back to where you were. You certainly can, and
I never make it that far. It seems like. Well, at least not on this time.
But and I always worry with couples, like, are they good for each other or bad for each other?
At this point, I'd say we're bad for each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, she honestly, I feel like she tries to steer towards more of the good. Mm-hmm. And she kind of leaves it up to me, and I think she tries, but I feel like she could try a little bit more, just as much as I could. Yeah. So that mean, yeah, we'll be sober for like a week or so, and then all of a sudden, like we'll get paid, and we'll just be sitting there bored and just yeah. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, it's kind of a stressful time, but I mean,
I think I would have to have somebody handle my money.
Yeah.
Basically,
no,
you know. I mean, just it would have to be something like that.
no. And I've had people are doing so well in their addiction recovery, and all of a sudden they'll come into a bunch of money. It's like, oh no, it's the worst thing that can happen. They're going to want to celebrate. You know, or people that like you said, you're sober for a little while, now you got to go celebrate that. And it's like, why would you celebrate something that you just being sober? I mean, that's where you want to be anyway. Don't celebrate being sober, you know. Or if you want to celebrate, just know that it's its own reward. But yeah, I think gratuity is a huge thing. And like you said, the people that seem to do well are the ones that have an element of gratitude, and they start to take pleasure in just day-to-day activity, kind of living in the present, you know, instead of worrying about being somewhere else or their brain being somewhere else or something. So I talk to a lot of people, whether it's they use spirituality or kind of a oneness or meditation or whatever, but got to learn how to get your brain there a different way than what you're used to, I think. But like I said, I don't have all the answers. I certainly don't. But I appreciate the fact that you're open to new things and new ideas. And again, we'll continue the Suboxone and the SSRI, and realize that you may have to save yourself first before you can save anybody else. I don't know. Or, you know, I think oftentimes you want to rescue her or feel like you're helping her, and it's not always what she needs, perhaps. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But she's worth saving. You're certainly worth saving, and just have to convince yourself of that, I guess.
I'm enabling her, and she's enabling me.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming back, Ricky. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out as long as you keep trying, and you know we'll do something different every time, or at least take a different approach every time, and we'll figure it out. Okay.
Thanks.
Dr. Lakin is a board-certified family medicine doctor with an emphasis in addiction medicine and over 25 years of experience. For addiction recovery services in the Wichita area, please visit www.centerforchangeks.com or visit samhsa.gov for a national directory of resources and recovery centers in your area. You can also find these links in the podcast description. Thank you for listening to the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast. And remember, you've got this.